Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Vannin, and today is another video on continuing to build useful and helpful things within the game of Ark Survival Evolved. Today I am going to show you how to build a small factor base build for you or for you and your buddies to use on busy servers. Busy servers mean that there's not a lot of footprint. Some private servers may reduce your footprint, for instance. So I'm going to show you a design or things that you can actually use that you can get everything into but doesn't take up a great deal of room. So without further ado, here is the design itself. So it's based off a circle design that I've then kind of embellished with a few more foundations and stairs and steps and things. Basically, the idea is that you can get everything that you could possibly want into your base on a small footprint. So if we go up, we go up just enough where the next floor is just above the industrial forge, and I've started to sort of like place down these door frames here, so you could actually create rooms if you wanted to, going off here, so that each person from your your group, for instance, your tribe, could have their own place to log out and store their bits and pieces and stuff like that. Or you could create this room as something else, whether it be storage or whatever. And the beauty of this is that you could just keep on going up within reason, um, and create hatching areas and things like that if you wanted to, either outside and next to this or inside of here itself. So I'm going to show you a couple of techniques that I've used on this. First of all, we have how do we actually create the shape, and I've started to lay it out over here for you. So how it starts is right here in the center with these 6 triangle foundations. Okay, so you simply just place like that. So that's the shape that you're looking for. And you'll notice over here that on every triangle, adjoining the triangle is an ordinary foundation. And then on every ordinary foundation is then a triangle. So with this, the next step is here, like so. And then fill in the gaps. And then square, triangle, because you've got a triangle there, you then do a square. Now this is how I do them. There are other ways of doing and just using triangle foundations, but I find this one the easiest to lock into my brain the pattern, as it's basically just square, triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle. Now you can make this as big as you want to, or big as you're allowed to do on your particular server, and then go from there. I myself don't go a huge bigger than that is. Pick that up. So you can see here we've got the central layer, and then 1, 2, and that's your space. And then I've come out another couple to make an entranceway. Now, you will notice on here that I've flipped the walls on the wood. I like playing with textures and things like that, and I like things to look good as well as be functional. And I just quite like the idea of flipping the walls round to give a different look. Now, you might think to yourself that all you do is you go to place one of these and then just press on a PC it's E, on Xbox I believe it's Y, and I'm not sure about PlayStation 4. Um, and you just flip it to its other plane. If you do that, then what happens is that I have a little demonstration over here. So on the left-hand side, that is ordinarily placed with the bark side of the wood on the outside. If you were to then flip it, then this happens. It actually sits back, so it goes on a different snap point. And what happens is once you then go up another layer and you want to put a roof or you want to put a floor in, everything's snapped in, so things don't line up properly. And that can cause an awful lot of problems for you in, in, in building with everything snapping inwards for you. So what you want is you want it to flip round and snap like that. Well, how do you do that? Well, what you need is this. You need a thatch ceiling. You'll notice that thatch ceilings are a little bit of a common theme for me for building and their uses, as they have a multitude of purposes. Not only for things like laying out, but creating scaffolds. Because if you're playing on official or if you're playing on a private server and you've got no access to any kind of admin commands, then flying is just not a thing. So you'll see very often in my builds, I will show you the ways of using scaffold to get to places, or very often I'll just use standing on a dino's head or something like that to actually get to that snap point that I need to do. But I shall show you here. With the ceiling in place, we go to place it, and all we do is we just need to look down, and you'll notice that it's changing its orientation. And there we go. We get rid of the thatch ceiling, and there it is, snapped in the plane that we want it to. So not sitting back as such, but nice and flush with the edge, everything butting up the way it should do. And that now means that when you go to put your next floor in, like I've done up here, everything meets up in the middle as it should do. If this didn't, then you'd find everything crosses over, and it then causes an awful lot of issues with snap points in the middle if you need to actually snap anything in, which just becomes a big pain when you're wanting to do roofs, ceilings, and things like that. So for instance, I have done in the past where the very top level, I've actually used greenhouse glass and created the very top level of this as being a garden. Now that starts to cause all sorts of issues if you don't get the walls right to begin. So that's why if you do decide that you want to do as I've done here, and flip it round just to give yourself a different look, then it's very important to follow that step of using the thatch ceiling in order to get it snapped onto this outside. Now, obviously, if you're going to be playing PvP, this probably won't the the flipping of walls probably won't be of something that you're particularly interested in, as you know, you're not going to be building out of wood. You're going to be building out of metal. But this is very much a PVE sort of thing, making things look pretty. But this kind of design for PvP, not that I've played very much PvP, but the circular design and using sort of the hatch frames attached and your turrets and things, I have seen PvP builds that incorporate this kind of design. So if you are looking you're unsure of how you actually set out a more circular base design, then this is how you do it. Starting off with your triangle foundations in the middle. Triangle foundation, it then goes to a square foundation, it then goes to triangle. So as long as you follow that, then you will then be right in terms of doing your circles. And it's the same when you come to do a ceiling. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to start in the middle, but on the outside edge, all you do is you look down, see what's down there on the in the foundation, and just copy doing the same thing. And that way, you can then do the floors all around on the inside of your build. So that is how you create a round foundation base, and also how you flip walls or wooden walls, so you get the clean inside, and how you actually get that on the edge of the foundation as it's supposed to be, as opposed to being stepped in, so it doesn't throw everything else off for you. So I hope you find some of that interesting and more importantly useful. If you do, then throw me a like, subscribe to the channel, and please feel free to leave any comments. If you have a different way of building circular foundations, then feel free, stick them in the comments and share them amongst everybody else. All of my stuff is purely and simply a guide. I'm not here to kind of say, this is the way that you do stuff, this is the way that I do stuff, and I just want to share it out with people. So, like I said, if you do it a different way, chuck it in the comments, share it with everybody, and have a great day, guys. Catch you later.